Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Miranda Ferguson, host of Southern Soul Chats, and we are thrilled that you're joining us for our summer series, Stories of Faith. If you've been with us for a little while, then you already know this is one of my favorite seasons each year. I'm always so honored and privileged to sit down with incredible people as they share their God stories with us. We have some amazing guests lined up this summer, and I truly believe you're not going to want to miss one single episode. So, wherever you're listening from today, thank you for being here. And let's jump into today's conversation. Hey y'all, welcome to Southern Soul Chats. I am your host, Dr. Ferguson, and I am super excited to be in Dallas. It's like a field trip again. And I am with some new friends. I have Courtney and Phil Collins, and they are joining us for our season finale, and we have quite a story for you guys. So hey, welcome to Southern Soul Chats.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Long distance from Houston to Texas, but hey, Houston to Dallas, but hey, it's still in Texas. That's all that matters. See, that's all that matters is that we're still in. It's still there.
Absolutely.
The story you're going to hear today is marked with deep loss, deep love, and I would say deep hope, rooted in when things in life just don't make sense or we can't grasp them, that our faith is there to carry us through that. And so thank you so much for A, trusting me with your story, and B, for really being willing to share this story. I know you guys advocate. There's a lot of things you advocate for, and we're going to talk about that today. But just in even talking with y'all pre-show, just the desire to take all the things and turn them back to glorify Christ, it just comes out.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And
thank you.
I am so excited to hear from you guys today. So why don't you quickly just each of you or one of you, however you want to do it, tell our listeners a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Ladies first.
Oh, you're so kind. What a
Such
gentleman.
a gentleman.
I know. I'm married up, y'all. My name is Courtney Collins, and I am a music teacher. That is my trade, my career. I am a general music education teacher for pre-K through 6th grade, and then I get to start a music 6th grade, and no, that is incorrect. Pause. I am starting a 7th and 8th grade junior high choir next year, which is the first time that our sweet little private school has ever had a choral department of any kind. So I'm getting to start that from the ground up.
How exciting.
It's so exciting.
That is awesome.
And then I get to do a lot of stuff with the praise band at our high school age. So we're all in one building, but I get to be all over that building. So I get to see and get to know all the kids. And it is my favorite thing. I have the best job in the whole wide world.
I was about to say, that sounds like a dream. How are you going to top that? She has a dream job. How are you going to top that?
Can't top it.
And our daughters get to go to school with her
true.
as well.
That's
so
true.
They're all my ladies are at the same place, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
That is nice.
So I'm Phil Collins, not the Phil Collins. I just so happen to have the same name and the same hairline. But that's okay. If I'm going to be compared to somebody and have their name.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad name to have.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But so my profession is I'm Director of Business Development at Sunbelt Pools. We're a commercial swimming pool contractor that covers the Sunbelt. So hence the name Sunbelt Pools. We cover all states here in the South.
I don't even know if I knew that. I don't think I knew that.
Well, let me tell you, it's hard to be here. They have been gracious. This company's been gracious to let us use their podcast where they do all things pools in this room.
Yeah.
But if you guys saw the pool I have to look at out here, it's hard. I just want to be out there right now. I think we should all be out there.
There used to be a window right here. They looked right over it, but we covered it up for this room. But otherwise, you could see it.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. I am having a hard time staying focused knowing that
there's just a pool right down there.
And it's not just a pool. It's like the flowers. It's like the pool.
It's a vibe.
It is.
It is a vibe.
Sure.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm having a hard time. I just want to spend money today on a pool, and I have a pool.
Then they're doing their job.
Yes.
They're doing a really good job.
It's working well. Awesome. Okay, as much as we'd love to talk about pools today
Right.
in this room, we're not.
That is right. That is correct.
We're going to talk about you guys and the Collins family. So let's just get into it. Where do we start, Courtney?
Well, we can start with my kids.
Sounds good.
They are a big part of our family. We have 3 daughters that are living, and then we have 2 sons that are with Jesus.
Okay.
our oldest is Lila. She is 15, and we actually, I just put it on the calendar that she's going to the DMV to
On the 12th of May to get her learner's permit.
We did that in January. We have a 15-year-old son.
So it's happening.
It's happening. Find a good neighborhood to drive.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
We have
going to
a
be
wide open parking lot.
That's
we'll
right.
maybe start there.
Yeah.
She's incredible. She's a freshman in high school at Lucas Christian Academy, which is where I teach. Super active, very athletic, very talented. Very proud of that girl. She has also taught me how to be a mom. That firstborn, sweet baby.
They do it to you, man.
Yeah, and they do. And she's so gracious. We have Violet, who is 13. She is a sarcastic, hilarious, wonderful, like opposite of her big sister. And then we have Evelyn, who is 10. And I thought after two girls that I would have had, since they're opposite, I was like, all right, well, I've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And then God gave us Evie, and found out real quick that I had nothing figured out, in fact.
Yep.
And she is completely different than both of her sisters.
What a great sense of humor God
I
has.
mean,
I know.
it is fun. And I also begged the Lord to give me sons only. And he said, that's so cute. Here's your daughters.
Well, apparently he got you cross with me because I wanted girls only, and I have 5 boys.
Oh, bless it.
So there's
Apparently
some
he knows what he's
wires.
doing.
I
I
think he does. I have figured out that he does.
I have also figured that out. We had a little boy named Henry Andrew, and I was pregnant with him in between Violet, the 13-year-old, and Evelyn, our 10-year-old. And we went in for a regular ultrasound just around 20 weeks pregnant, and he no longer had a heartbeat. And so perfectly formed, just no longer alive. And so we walked that road, got pregnant with Evelyn very quickly after that, did not expect that. So that was a difficult pregnancy to make it all the way through, thinking that I would lose another.
Yeah, that's hard.
And then after Evie, we got pregnant with our Lucas Paul, and he passed away. It was a year ago in February, and so February 9th of 2025. Days don't mean the same when you're sitting in grief, and so I try to make sure I remember. But it feels like yesterday, and also time has a very different meaning now. So. Yeah. But he was 6 years old when he passed, and absolutely the most incredible human being I've ever met.
And we're going to talk a lot about him today.
Yeah.
So you're going to
awesome.
hear all about Lucas today.
Yeah.
And the rest of the crew.
That's right.
We're not leaving anybody out.
Excellent. We got plenty.
So you guys met in high school.
We did.
Tell me about that.
You let me
ahead.
talk here?
Yeah,
All right,
you
cool.
can
I'll give
go.
it a shot. So I had to join choir for an extracurricular activity, right? They make you have a fine arts credit.
Right.
And so I joined choir just to get a credit, and I ended up, in the end, having a wife of now 18 years. So I guess you could
You're
say
welcome,
choir changed my life.
Yes.
There's a
great
shirt
plug.
for that.
He makes shirts. We should make that happen.
You need to make that happen.
I probably will. Choir changed my life, which my choir teacher from high school would be like, whatever, dude, you were the worst. Because I wasn't in there for choir. So
Clearly. It worked out, though, for you.
It did.
Well.
It worked out for me,
So
too.
we were really just seeing each other from across the classroom. Eventually, I guess we talked a little bit, and, I thought she was cute. And so I guess we started flirting a little bit around end of sophomore year. And then at some point, both of our junior year, because we both graduated the same year, we started talking. I think we dared each other that we'd go on a date or something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds about right. It's probably on AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, my gosh,
Would be my guess.
Forgot all about
And
that.
and so anyways, we went on a date. And what's interesting about that date is that we went to her church to have a picnic. And she had set up this picnic with cookies, peanut butter cookies, and a little bench that was a magic bench, because I thought I was really cool, so I made up a story about a magic.
You're going to tell this whole story. I'm
So
here
I made
for
up a
it.
story about a magic bench, and that's how they had their first kiss.
Yeah.
And
We had
so
not kissed at this
Yeah,
point.
we hadn't. And so she made this magic bench with a necklace on it to make it look pretty, and it
had glitter all over
it.
it.
It said magic.
It did.
And what's funny is I still have that magic bench. It's in
now
Evelyn's room.
It's in our 10-year-old.
It's a little broken because it's over what?
Well, it's a little.
It's 22 years old or 24 years
still
old.
Has character.
But we still have it. Anyways, so we kiss, but the kiss did not meet her expectations. And
It was awful. So the magic.
it was not so magical.
Create the magic.
No,
Didn't bring
the
the
bench,
magic.
The bench did not work.
It didn't. He had also just eaten a peanut butter cookie,
Which was her
that I
fault
had
because she made the peanut butter cookies. So she set me up
I
for
didn't think
failure.
it through.
Jeez, she was like, well, the magic bench will save him, but it didn't.
Oh, well,
and so
tried.
we move on from that. We go on like 1 or 2 other dates together, and eventually she decides we're not going to be boyfriend and girlfriend anymore, which was, I guess, all right, cool. So I date a bunch of other girls.
It's true, he did.
I ask another girl to prom senior year.
Not me.
And then at prom, she and I end up spending most of our time together.
True.
And then we started talking a little bit more right after prom, started dating. She went to TCU freshman year. I went to Paris Junior College to play baseball. So she was on vocal scholarship at TCU. I was playing baseball in Paris, about 4 hours from one another. And so we did the long distance thing for a while. And yeah, we eventually both finished our first 2 years of college, both went to Texas A&M Commerce. And then we both graduated from there, got engaged in 2006, got married in 2008.
Yeah.
So did I miss any details?
No, I don't think that was really good.
He shared the magic bench.
He did. I didn't know that was coming, and I'm really
They needed
grateful.
to know where it
actually.
all began.
That's true.
That's
They
where it
did.
all. Too bad we don't have the magic bench.
I know, I should've
No, we
brought
should have
it.
brought it as a prop. Dadgum.
Daggone,
I
man.
know.
Next
Missed
time.
opportunity.
Next time.
Next
It's okay.
time. Next
Yeah,
time. We'll know next time.
for sure.
So, okay, you're young, you're coming out of college, you've been together for a pretty significant amount of time, some of that together, some of that apart.
Yeah.
What did dreams in life look like coming out, being like, okay, here we go?
I think our dreams probably looked differently. I do not come from a family that stayed together. And so my hope was that I would have what I did not have. Like going forward, I was going to be married to my high school sweetheart for the rest of my life, and we were going to do these wonderful things. We were going to have a lot of money, and we were going to travel and have babies, and I would be a famous performing singer, and I would change the world. That was my hope.
I love it.
And he was going to play baseball, and he was going to go pro, and it was going to be, we were just going to be living this very big, loud
dream.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It didn't go that way. And so those dreams, which we thought that's what was best, and God said, oh,
That's so cute.
it's
Yeah.
really cute, you
Yeah.
guys.
I love that.
Yeah.
So glad you think that's what you're
Yes,
going to do.
yes. He said, no. We're going to go this other direction. It was fun, though. Being newlyweds was really fun. We moved got our first apartment together after we got married.
6 months later, we bought a house.
We bought a house.
2008.
That was
or
really
2009,
fun.
yeah.
And we were the first ones out of like our friend group to get married. And so we thought we were very cool.
Yes.
And so everybody would come over to our house before we had any furniture. We didn't have furniture for a minute.
But you had a house.
We had a
we had a
house.
house.
We had a whole house. It had a
But
roof.
you had a house.
Like, it was a thing.
Yeah.
And so
Who needs furniture?
No.
You have a
we
house.
didn't.
Yeah, we didn't have any kids at the time. As
Yeah,
long as we
yeah.
had a couch in the living room and a
Yeah,
bed, we were fine.
It was solid.
Yeah.
So we got to hang out and party and have fun. And
Back to God pointing exactly where things needed to be. So the company that I work at now, and that this is my 17th year here at Sunbelt Pools, my dad was one of the owners at the time, but he wanted me to go learn somewhere else in the industry to get, my feet wet, if you will, of like what's life all about, not just coming to work for dad.
Right.
But when I got laid off and I needed an opportunity, my dad gave it to me, and the rest is history. Where things are today, like God has not given up on me and my family, and just continuing to show up in ways that we never would have thought.
Yeah.
And this place where I work is one of those places where it feels like family. I mean, it's literally like when I come here, it's like family, and it didn't always feel that way, but through patience and just trusting that God had me right where he wanted me has been such a blessing.
So was faith a big part of your lives separately before you were together, then together? Has that always been something that was important to you guys, or did you grow in that together and start that together? Because a lot of times we have people who are like, there was no faith in my home.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Our stories are really different. And I think that is so actually when I broke up with him, because he was not a very good kisser, the reason that I actually sought him out again initially is because I missed his family. Going to their home and sitting at their kitchen table or hanging out on the couch and their parents walking through and us chatting. And his little brother, who was a singer, and I connected, like we got to talk about. It just was a very friendly, warm, happy place, and I wanted to be there. And I missed it so bad after I broke up with Phil. And so I hadn't realized I loved him yet, but more than anything, I just wanted to get back inside that house,
Right.
To feel those feelings, because those were not feelings that I had in my own home. And the interesting thing, and what God has taught me, I've been leading worship since I was in like 7th grade, because if you can sing well, and you've been going to a church for a long time, the natural progression is I'm going to step in and I'm going to put a microphone in my hand and I'm going to sing.
Right.
And so on Sunday mornings, I could talk the talk really well, and I was trying to walk the walk that I thought was being asked. But our family was totally different through the week than they were on Sunday morning when we walked into church. And arguments and fights that were happening in the car on the way to church were squashed. And while we were at church, we were a different family. And so I had an idea of that's just the way everyone's faith worked. Not that it was a daily personal decision, right? To spend time with the Lord, to meet the Lord, to ask him to show you things. I thought I was doing it on my own. And I realized that on Sunday mornings when I was leading worship, I don't know that I really believed what I was singing.
Right. It was more like a performance.
Yeah, it was a performance. Yeah. And I was a good singer. So
there you go.
It was great for me.
Right, yeah.
And people would tell me, oh my gosh, you blessed me so much. I'm like, you're welcome. Like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't even until, late high school, probably, because I've even had conversations with people that we went to high school with recently, like since Lucas passed away, that have come back into my life, and we've had conversations where they had no idea that I was in the situation at home that I was in, or that I was in the place with the Lord where I was because of how I carried myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was a really good actress. I was a really, really good actress, and I had a lot of people fooled. There was a stint in my life over a couple of years where I did try to end my life 3 times. None of them were successful. Spoiler.
And just in case they didn't recognize.
Just in case you didn't notice.
Yeah.
The Lord had a plan for those things, and I've actually been able to walk with other teenagers in my adulthood who are sitting in similar situations, and they don't have hope. And they think people don't understand what they're feeling and what their mind is telling them. And I can say, oh yeah, me too. Me too. But here's what God can do and will do. And so nothing in my life has been for naught. Like nothing is just like, well, this really bad thing happened. And
Yeah, my thing over the last couple of years is nothing is lost with God.
that's right.
Like he's the only person who can take everything and anything, hot mess, great, and combine it and do something absolutely beautiful with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it blows my mind.
Same. And I think that our marriage is kind of that story. I mean, we are very different. We came from very different places. You want to talk any about
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yours?
so she already kind of mentioned, my house wasn't perfect. Parents weren't perfect. Nobody's are. I don't ever remember a time growing up where I felt that there was this chaos. It felt like life. Like I think about myself as a parent a lot and how I've got a 15-year-old already. And that if you think about that, like she could be out of the house soon. And so I think about my adult life and I feel like childhood was long. Like, yes, it went by fast, but at the same time, made a lot of good memories. Life was good. So you kind of like, man, I don't want to forget that childhood is kind of how I look at it now. So like as a parent, it's not that I feel like I have to measure up to something of like, I've got to make the experience so good for my kids. They're counting on it,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like when I look back on my childhood, I want for my children to be like, man, we went through a lot, but man, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it's something that God brought us through together.
Yeah.
And so that's how I feel like with my family. A lot of the things that I've gone through in life and that we've gone through, we've had the support. And we've had support from some people in Courtney's family as well.
Yeah.
But yes, my growing up was quite different than hers. I came to know Christ at a young age, struggled through high school and into college with experimenting with drinking, and just doing things, that were, you know that they were the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
You like to do bad things.
It was fun to do bad things.
I think there's a lot of people with a similar story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of redemption, even just in my own personal walk with Christ. But as we'll tell a little bit more about our story of just how God's used our background, but also the things that we've struggled with individually to lead us to where we are today.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Let's do that now.
Okay.
You set this up so good. It's like you have done this before. I love it. So, okay, we were at the house with no furniture,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
We don't have kids yet.
Right.
So we're living our best life.
Yep.
Dream, we maybe starting to realize that perfect dream of all the things that we think.
Maybe
may
I
not-
wasn't going to be famous.
Maybe
Yeah.
the shoe store is going to
Yeah.
be your new
Right.
dream,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So where does that start to unfold, and what does that look like?
Lila was born. Life was great. She was tiny. I remember being she was an emergency C-section. I was terrified out of my mind. And everything went beautifully. She's perfect.
Honestly, being a new parents with a baby like Lila spoiled us like crazy.
Big
It's
time.
not that the other kids were a bad experience. It's just that Lila, everything that she did just made, she spoke early, she walked early, like everything was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
This
Being
is
a parent
how
is easy.
this is
What did everybody complain about? This is
What's
perfect.
everybody complaining
Fantastic.
about?
And it was so joyful. And that's when also Phil and I we went through, it was probably a couple of years getting out of college because I had worked at a church when I was in college to make money. And because I felt comfortable working for a church because I got to sing. And I was figuring out what it felt like to have a personal connection with the Lord. And Phil was playing baseball all the time. And then when we were together at Commerce, we hadn't put roots down anywhere. We weren't in the town where we had grown up. We were planning on getting married, didn't know where we were going to live. And so
we hadn't found a church that we were going to commit to.
Yeah.
And we didn't in the first year of marriage. It wasn't until
Sundays were for
the
sleeping.
very end of 2009, before we had Lila,
Yeah.
the church that we go to now is the same church that we started going to then. It was a startup.
Yep.
And that's a whole nother story because this is our 17th year as a church, and we're very close to getting our first building, but God's just been so faithful in that as well. So it's just another area.
It's so many. Like, I don't know if we'll have enough time. There's so many.
It's not a
God
bad
is
problem to
doing-
have here.
No,
It's not
God
a
is
bad
doing
problem to
so
have.
much, and He has been. It's fun to look back and see, like, our two best friends, Megan and Joey Williams, they invited us to try out this church that they were helping start because Joey is related to the pastor. And so we were like, Phil has grown up with Joey. I knew Megan from high school. Joey and I sang together in high school. We all went to high school together. And so I told Phil, I was like, fine, we can go check it out and we can be supportive friends, but we are not going to church with them. We're just not. It's not happening. Megan is a singer, and I don't want, like, that's not what I see happening for us. Like, that's not what I have pictured. I don't know what I pictured, but they were meeting in a daycare, and I was like, that's really sweet and so cute. So
Love that. Not for us though.
we went, and after that first service where there was a handful of people, we got in the car to go home, And I was so angry and I started crying. And Phil was like, so what'd you think? And I was like, I'm so mad. And he was like, why are you mad? And I was like, I feel like that's where the Lord wants us. I'm so frustrated.
That's not what I had.
That's not what I wanted, God.
Oh my gosh.
And here we are.
Aren't you glad that his plans are better?
So
than
much
yours?
better. So much better.
And then he just completely blows you out of your
every
comfort zone.
time.
Yeah.
Every time.
So you have this great baby that sets you up for, all kids are like this.
Yep.
It's all wonderful and perfect all the time.
Yep.
And then what? What happens? We have great baby. We have a church. We have a home with probably some furniture now.
Yep, we did get some furniture
we're
in
moving
there.
up in the
do.
world.
And then one of the things that, just popped back into my mind is we were actually in between having, so from our first child, Lila, to having our second child, Violet, we decided that we should, God was calling us to be foster parents.
Yep.
And so we went through, we got certified, and we got a placement. Without getting too much into it, it was a very difficult process. We said we could handle having one. They kept coming with multiple siblings, and it's so hard because you're like, well, we committed to helping, but can we do that?
I was pregnant
She
with
was
Violet.
very pregnant. I think she was 8 months pregnant at the time. And so this is like November. We get the placement, 2 little kids in the middle of the night.
A pair of siblings.
Anyways, they were with us for 3 months until we had to find another place because she was about to have the baby. And so around February of 2013, the kids went to go to a different home. We had Violet, and then Violet was born. She was a planned C-section. I remember holding her there, and she had these big dark eyes, and I was like, "You're trouble." And I tell her this story all the time. I was like, I could tell the way she had just come out of her mom's, from via C-section, and she's just wide-eyed and just looking at me like, yeah.
It's
just
coming.
Just wait.
Yeah.
But she's
You ain't seen nothing yet.
she is incredible, and she was again. It was having just those 2 little girls was a breeze.
It was.
Their personalities were so different, and they were just cute, and there was lots of princess costumes and dancing.
Yep.
And I'll say, and probably haven't said this out loud to too many people, but from Lila being born to Evelyn being born, and even a little bit after Evelyn, life just happened to us.
Yeah.
I felt like we were serving in our church, work was going well, but there wasn't a lot of growth personally. I'll speak for myself. For myself, there wasn't a lot of growth. My relationship, I trust God, love God, but there were just a lot of areas where, with pride and selfishness and things like that just caused apathy and not a lot of growth. And so, although it was a really good time, from 2010 to 2016 when Evelyn was born, we're kind of just going through the motions a lot with life.
I think that's why when we lost Henry, in between Violet and Evie, I did not seek the Lord in that pain. Yes, I knew God was there. I knew God had a plan, but I was really mad. Really, really mad. And I knew it was a boy, and God took my boy. And why did you allow me to get pregnant to only then take this baby away from me? That seems really unfair. And that is not the God I serve. And so my version of the Lord that I had put in this cute little box,
Right.
didn't make sense anymore. And honestly, I grew up in a space where I just fended for myself through most of my adolescence. And I was still in a place at that time where I thought, I'll figure this out. He seems to be doing okay. I can tell he's sad, but he's going on with life. I'm laying in this bed and I'm crushed and I'm crying and I'm in pain, physical pain, but also my heart is broken and I don't understand. I'm just going to figure it out. Life has to keep going. I've always pulled up my bootstraps and said, fine, I'm better than this. I'll figure it out. And so that was my mentality coming out of that. And I did have a relationship with the Lord. And I think that that's something that is really important to understand, especially if you haven't experienced anything that has caused your heart to break in that way, is that God is good in all of the moments, and it's okay to how do I say it? It's okay to have feelings of anger or frustration or I don't understand, because guess what? It's good that you don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's okay. God can handle your anger,
Yep.
and he can handle, he could handle me laying in a bed being very upset with him and not understanding, because he already knew, and nothing was a surprise to him. It was a big surprise to me.
Yeah, a shocker for
It was
you.
a big shocker.
Yeah.
But God was good, just as good when Lila was born as when Henry
That's so good.
went to heaven. He didn't change.
Right.
I did. And I didn't realize at the time what full surrender meant. I learned it. There's a lot of sanctification that happened starting about that point, and getting pregnant with Evie and not wanting to be pregnant with Evelyn.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people can understand that. It's one thing to have sympathy when you hear somebody had a miscarriage.
Sure.
Because ultimately that's what that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I can sit here and really say people don't understand sympathy versus empathy is because I've been right where you were.
Yeah.
Same thing. Before my 15-year-old had got pregnant, everything was great. Went to an ultrasound 13, 14, 15 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
They did the famous, let's see what the doctor says.
Yep.
And you know in that moment something's not right, but you're like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor comes in and you find out it's not.
Yep.
And so to really understand and grasp that, you have to go through it.
Yeah.
You have to know the feelings of laying in a bed and coming home from a hospital with what should have been in your hands.
Yep.
And you still feel the same way.
Yeah.
But there's nothing.
Yep.
And it's very difficult. And at least I've been there. And I remember it's been a long time since I've thought about it, actually, because it's just been a long time ago.
Sure.
And God is good, and life goes on, and he blesses you in other ways. And you've dealt with that. You know, it's almost like having a scar.
Oh, yeah.
There's a marked scar there, but you
Right.
don't think about it
Yep.
all the time. But as you're sitting there, I'm picturing myself doing the same thing, laying in a bed and just being like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
Where do I go from here? And then getting pregnant. So it must be a thing, girl, because we got pregnant very quickly after that as well. And the whole time going to the bathroom.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be graphic, don't worry, but going to the bathroom and always looking and thinking.
Yeah. Being terrified. To
For
look down.
a solid 9 months.
Right.
Yep.
And it's
Scary.
I don't know if it got better for you with pregnancies, but I know I had Brody and then several more. It never got better.
No.
It always pregnancy where people had said, "Oh, I'm so happy, I'm so joyful. I look at the glow." I did not glow.
Yeah.
There was no glow. I only glowed when it was time to leave and there was something in my hand. That was the glow.
Yeah. There's the glow. Yeah.
And so I struggled with that too.
Yeah.
Of being like, this is a good thing and a blessing, but I am scared to death.
Yeah. I think a lot of women are. And that's why it wasn't talked about. And so he passed away in 2015. The miscarriage was in 2015. No, I had never heard any women around me talk about
Yeah,
so I
me
thought,
either.
I'm alone in this. And so I just, being who I am, thank you, Jesus, for making me who I am. But I put it out into the world. Like I wrote, it was a blog at the time, and I wrote all about it and put it out on social media. And I was reached out to by so many women, like my mother-in-law's friends who reached out to me, private message, and were like, man, 30 years ago, I went through the same thing, and I know exactly how you feel. And I realized I wasn't alone. This happens to so many women. Why are we not talking about it?
Yeah.
And so it's been a really neat way that the Lord has given us to minister to other people too.
It feels like, Phil, you said, up to this certain point between this daughter and this daughter, we didn't have any growth. And then it was like God said, hey.
Guess what?
I know you've been enjoying this. It's been fun and all, but it's time to shake things up a little bit because this feels like a major growth moment
Yeah. And
for
then,
both of you.
Evie's born in 2016 in February, and things go well.
Yeah, she was perfect.
Blue eyes, blonde hair, just her features were so sharp, and she's beautiful. And now we have 3 girls, and we're doing all the things. I guess at that point, Lila's 6 years old. So we've got a kindergartner, one in preschool, and a newborn. Life's pretty
Living the life.
Yeah.
Life's going pretty well.
Picture perfect.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2018. So December 3rd of 2018, Lucas Paul Collins was born. And that was a planned C-section. I can remember being in the hospital room. We go back into the operating room because that's what they do, right? For C-sections, they take you into an operating room. I remember that smell in there. It's a very distinct smell.
Yeah.
And doctors do all their things.
Everything had been perfect.
Yeah, everything seemed fine. And
all the scans, everything was great.
And when Lucas came out, I can't explain it, but I had that feeling when you just feel hopeless and you're just like, oh, like your shoulders sink and everything in you is like, is everything okay?
Nothing. Something is wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong. He was very small, not the size the doctor had expected.
Right. Not even close.
He's a tiny little boy. And at that time, obviously, we don't know what actually is wrong, and we wouldn't for a while. And so, we're in the hospital for a few days after. Courtney's recovering. When we leave, we have a few directives. Hey, we need to go he's got a tongue tie. We've got to go get that fixed.
That's why he's not eating.
That's why he's not eating well. But we didn't have much information there when you have a newborn, and Lucas ended up having a rare genetic malformation that he was born with, but the doctor could not have known that upon birth.
In the moment.
It took some time. So that was the very first thing that we had to go do, something we hadn't done with our other children. Mm-hmm. Go to a dentist, get the tongue clipped the way that they do that. He started eating better, but he had to be under blue light because he had jaundice. So he literally had to sleep on this little UV light. Hadn't done that with any of our other kids.
It was so cute.
It was so cute. He had this little hat on that looked like an elf.
Oh my gosh.
And it was right around Christmas time. It's
precious.
It was precious. But again, the things started to stack up of okay, I haven't felt this way with our three daughters. And now, even though these things don't seem like a big deal, getting a tongue tie taken care of, having to be on this UV thing, but it just started. That was the very beginning of what would be a long journey in Lucas's life of continuous hospital visits and doctor's appointments and trying to figure things out. Mm-hmm. And so, about 6 months after Lucas was born in June of 2019, Courtney and I were in the kitchen, mm-hmm. and Lucas was in a little bouncer in our bedroom, and I walk in there and he's blue, completely blue. I had never seen a child like that before. And I am back to that feeling of when Lucas was born. Now multiply that times 10. I'm flush. Your brain just goes into, I don't know what to do mode.
Yeah.
So I go over to him. I'm like, he couldn't have been choking on anything. He's been here right in this bouncer, laying, and
so Phil starts screaming.
I start screaming.
And I'm in the kitchen and gosh, I haven't thought about this in a while. I run into the bedroom and Phil hasn't gotten him out of again, like he said, you kind of just stop, you freeze. I'm not that way. He is that way. He's like a take action guy outside of the moment. Mm-hmm. And we can talk more about that later. The Lord equipped us both to be exactly who we needed to be for Lucas. I grab Lucas out of the bouncer, flip him upside down, thinking that he's choking. So I'm banging on his back. He's still so tiny, just a little bitty guy. And still not breathing. So I'm digging around in his mouth, or trying to dig around in his mouth, but his jaw is clenched and I can't get past his jaw. And so we call 911.
No, we did not.
We didn't?
Not on that one. On that one,
Why did we not call 911?
I know.
The story's
so
unfolding
many
right
times, I know.
now.
There's more opportunities where we did that, but I went and grabbed the car seat.
Oh, that's right.
I put him in the car seat. I got in the car with my daughter, Lila, who is the oldest.
That's right.
She sat in the back with him. She stayed with the other two.
Yep.
And I drove as fast as I could to the closest hospital, ran in holding the car seat. The whole time to the hospital, I'm asking Lila, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he breathing? So that's traumatic for your, at that time, 8-year-old.
Who was not in a car seat, right? Who was holding onto this car seat.
Yeah. And so I run into the hospital. We get him checked in.
He was breathing, by the way.
Yes. So the seizure lasted a little over a minute. But during that's
And that's when you found him. He's blue. Is this the
Yes.
seizure
That's the
is
seizure.
happening in the middle of
Yes.
it?
yes.
Yep.
So
But we don't know it's a seizure because we don't know what's going on.
No,
Right.
that's correct.
So without going way too far into how doctors and nurses act when you show up telling them all these things that you've seen,
Right.
this is not a time to jump on a soapbox and talk about misdiagnoses. And so I'm not going to do that. I will make a blanket statement of that was the very beginning of we told them exactly what happened. We shared as much information as we could, and we were told it's this.
We were
It's
wrong.
this. You're wrong.
And you
It's
missed this.
No,
Right.
no, it's febrile. It's febrile, which means they had a fever, and then they had a seizure while they had to be febrile, right?
Right.
To have a fever. And so it's that. It has to be that. Because they didn't have an explanation for it. They wanted to give you a piece of paper so you could be discharged from the doctor's office, the hospital. Here's your explanation. Here's the test that we did, and here's the bill. And
Follow up with your doctor.
And follow up with your doctor and leave.
Yeah.
Well, what doctor? So that started the journey of, so that day in June of 2019 of,
Something is wrong.
what do we do now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to speak to any more of that, you can, but that just,
Well, I will. I'm going to rewind just a little bit because that kind of started pushing me on this path of like, I don't have answers. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing control. And if you rewind back to when I said I could fix this on my own,
Right.
realizing I can't fix this that was a very uneasy feeling for me.
Yeah.
I not likes it. That's
Yeah.
something Lucas used to say. He'd say, I not likes it.
not like,
So we use that phrase a lot, and I not likes it
Yeah.
when I'm not in control.
Yeah.
And
Me
so,
either. I not like it
I
either.
not likes it. So my grandmother, my mom's mom, was my favorite human on the planet. And we had a rough relationship when I was a kid. She suffered through a lot of really bad abuse. She had a lot of mental health struggles. Once Lila was a little bit older is when she started coming to church with us and met people and started choosing for herself to step into a relationship with the Lord. So our relationship took off then, and it was incredible and something that I didn't know I needed so badly. She filled a very large hole in my heart for the kind of love and attention and affection that I didn't have when I was a kid. So she passed away in 2017. When she passed away, I had been there to witness her death and in her home, and it was horribly traumatic. If she had lung cancer, so if you've ever been with someone in their final moments that's battling cancer
Yeah.
in that way, when they're not able to breathe or when you want to save them, you know that you cannot, and that I was begging God very loudly to please just take her now. I decided the best solution to that was to buy a box of wine and sit on her back porch and drink the whole thing. And so I did. I did that. Had a gnarly hangover. It was terrible. I hated it.
I bet the next day was really rough.
It was rough, man. It was rough. I come from a family of addicts. And so I knew my whole life that I had probably had a propensity for it, and I refused. Like I would never be like them. I had already seen the 12 steps and the things, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I am better than that.
Yeah.
I'm so much better than that. Well, that when Lucas, when all of those things happened at the beginning of Lucas's journey with epilepsy, which is what he was finally diagnosed with, as a result of him having an extremely rare genetic disease called HNRNPU. There are less than 200 documented cases. I mean, he is like so rare. Which is a gift from the Lord. We didn't recognize it as a gift from the Lord at the time, but it is.
But some of them were his superpowers. So one of
Absolutely.
them was one of the other symptoms is autism.
Yep.
So he was very autistic. Developmental delays, hypotonia, which is low muscle tone, the epilepsy, and a handful of other things, but his autism was his superpower.
Yeah.
And we can get into a little bit more about some of the ways that Lucas just overcame so many things and just showed just such resilience. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
As we were walking through those first, let's see, he was born in 2018, December, so the end of 2018. And then you hit COVID.
In 2020 is when we got the diagnosis in January.
So 2 years. It took you guys 2
Yes,
years.
and that is it was a very long,
2
frustrating 2 years.
Yeah.
But when COVID hit, and I loved wine, it was like my favorite, and it was it
you
helped
been,
me
like,
go to sleep.
Since your passing,
Since my nana
since your
passed,
nana, had
yep.
you been just kind of like dabbling here and there? or-
We had,
We
we
drank
drank some
To enjoy
like,
it, what we thought was to enjoy it.
It was
Right.
social drinking,
yeah.
but really it was like every night we would have a glass or two of whatever it was, which
yeah,
it was fine. Like I didn't think about it all the time.
Right.
it was just a part of what you
it's just
did.
it's just what
Yeah.
we did. And so it wasn't until COVID. I've got all 4 kids at home, and
Yes, we all did.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
and Lucas is still. Seizures are happening. He stopped. What we found out was that they were grand mal seizures, which are now called tonic-clonic seizures. So he stops breathing. There's
It starts on the left side of the brain and
Goes
envelops all the way
his
around.
entire brain. So frontal to bilateral tonic-clonic seizures is what he suffered from. Super traumatic watching your son look like he's dead all the time. And then having to have all 4 home and we had to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Like I had to be constantly on. We didn't sleep. We took like rotations to make sure if he seized in his, like at nighttime, we didn't miss it so that he didn't die. Because we had rescue medications. We didn't have oxygen yet. It's a whole thing. But
But you had procedures and plans.
we did.
Yeah.
And so I was on 24/7. And I wanted a break. So when I saw on social media that moms were saying it was cool to drink in the daytime because we're all losing our minds and we don't have to drive anywhere anyways, you might as well have a glass of wine in the afternoon. I was like, that is magical.
Sign me up.
Thank you for permission to do this. This
Yes.
sounds fantastic.
Right.
And so a lot of times you'll hear of alcoholics, which I am one. I am an alcoholic. They have this long career of drinking. It took me about 5 minutes to go from 0 to 1 billion. And I wound up drinking around the clock all day long, every day, just to maintain and be able to cope with life. And so we also you throw that into the mix too. Mom drinking constantly. I had a therapist tentatively diagnose me with dissociative identity disorder because I was not being truthful with her about my drinking, and I would be like different people. Like I can't believe that I'm still alive. God has a real good plan for me. Obviously, he's not done with me yet. And so I am now a recovered and recovering, always recovering alcoholic. But I'm getting close to 4 years sober. So praise God for that. He's also sober. He chose to be sober.
Yep. So Courtney, and she can tell a little bit more about her story, but she stopped drinking June 27th of 2022.
That's right.
And a month later, when I went to go pick her up from rehab, July 27th of 2022 is the last time I had something to drink.
So he's 30 days behind me, which means I win.
She wins forever.
She wins. So you
No,
have
right.
all these things with Lucas going on. He's still little. You have other children.
Yep.
Now we're all stuck at home in COVID, which is enough to make anybody
Yeah.
need Jesus in
Yeah.
their life.
Yes.
And now alcohol has re-entered
Yep.
it fiercely.
Yes.
So when do you realize, Phil, that like this is not just we're having some drinks at night, not a big deal?
Yeah. So we have left out quite a bit of the other things that we were involved in throughout this time. We both run a camp in the summertime for 1 week of summer, Boys is called Warrior Week. Girls is called Girls Getaway. We do that with our friends, Joey and Megan, Joey's the worship pastor at our church, lifelong friend. I've known him and his wife since 3rd grade. So we
talked about them earlier in this episode.
These are the people they didn't want to go to church with.
Right,
That's right. We didn't. And now we run a ministry
They know that,
with
so
them.
this isn't like we're dropping a bombshell on them or anything.
All
Love
the
you guys.
surprises of today's podcast.
Yeah.
So we started doing this camp in 2017, and we're still doing it today. So that, plus we also, right after COVID, started running the concession stand for the softball league in Wiley. So you've got work plus concession stand, kids sports, doing the camp. I was an elder at the church. Like there was just so much going on.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying enough attention.
And I was grateful he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. I was juggling all the different things, and I would notice things here or there, but it wasn't until probably about a month before Mother's Day and then up to Mother's Day of 2022 where I was like talking with a few different people, my pastor, a couple other friends, starting to put some pieces together. And then just a few other things that I'm not going to go into detail about, but just things started to happen that weren't adding up. And I was asking a lot more questions and starting to think about a lot more things of like, man, her therapist is saying this, that doesn't seem right. Like someone could have looked at me and go, man, Phil, you were just oblivious. No, I wanted to assume the best of the situation of the person that you love and that you're married to. I didn't want to, because we would get in arguments that a lot of times maybe the next morning that either one of us wouldn't be able to recall exactly what happened. So you kind of just get to the point where you're like, well, whatever happened. It's today. Let's figure it out today.
It's a new day. We're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
And when you've got 4 kids, one with special needs that needs you all the time, you're hardly ever thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
And so you're in constant almost survival mode. And so I think your brain just is like, dude, just get through the day. Just get through the day. And there was a lot of that. And so I was just oblivious to a lot of the things going on. But yeah, it wasn't until about a month before we were going to go do our camp. My friend actually came up here and we talked for a while. Joey, who I do the camp with. And
it was on June 27th.
Yeah, it was on June 27th.
Which I didn't drink that day. That was like the first day in a long time I hadn't had anything to drink in the morning. And which I know shocks people, but I had gotten to that point where I could not survive without alcohol.
Without something.
I had to have it, or I was shaking and sweating. It was the whole thing.
So he comes to me and he's like, hey, we've seen a lot of red flags and we really just don't think Courtney can come as a director to camp this year. She just doesn't seem well. She needs to be healthy if she's going to come, and we just haven't seen that. So I go home that day and I come in and I say, hey, we need to talk. And so we go into the bedroom to talk about it.
Kind of makes me sick listening.
And it was a pretty surreal moment, but I was very honest with her and told her what the conversation was, and she wasn't happy with the fact that we were making this decision that she couldn't come as a director to our camp.
Cue the me not being able to control something.
Yep. But
still a problem.
And I'll let her tell the rest of that day, the story of that day. So.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful he finally confronted me because I had been waiting for a long time. Even though I didn't want to be found out, but I didn't know how to ask for help, even though, again, I had walked through this with people in my family my whole life. Like, I was terrified. I was afraid. And I didn't want anyone to see me how I knew people would see me if they found out what I was doing. But it was really bad. So when I knew when he got home that he figured it out. Something had happened and I knew he was going to say something because he wouldn't look me in the eye, and he came home at like 3:00, which was not normal. So yeah, we went in the bedroom and he confronts me, tells me I can't go to camp. Megan and Joey agree I can't come. And I'm like, oh, that's funny because I'm going.
Right, yeah.
So
on y'all.
I figured it out. Like, I was like, okay, fine. If you guys think I'm an alcoholic, if you need me to say it, fine, I'm an alcoholic. But I'll go to these meetings and then I'm going to camp. Like, I'll just
fix it really quick.
I'll just fix it. It's fine. It's fine. Y'all are being dramatic. Calm down. I don't need to drink. Like, I can quit on my own.
See, today I didn't drink at all. Look how great I am.
No, I seriously thought that. I was like, hello, I'm fully sober today. But I wound up on the phone because I was Googling like AA meetings, found a number, hit the first number I found, called it, and the Lord set it up that the person on the other end of that line was a recovered addict. And it was not to help me find a meeting, but rather to help set me up with a rehab facility. And I didn't know that when he asked me questions and I started spilling my guts to him. And I told him things I had never said out loud, hadn't even admitted to myself. And I was sitting in the driveway. He asked me if my husband was home. I said, yes, sir. And took the phone in to Phil. And about an hour later, I had a flight booked to Florida the following morning.
Wow.
And so that night was not my favorite. Didn't drink, though. Stayed fully
really
sober.
Quick. Like, so you're confronted. You have people come to you. You go home.
Yep.
You end up on the phone with a stranger.
Yep.
And the next morning,
I'm on a plane.
you're on a plane.
Yeah.
In less than 24 hours of our conversation, in 18 hours of our conversation, she was in Florida at the facility.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was fun. Rehab is a whole thing, but those are my people. I'm not going to lie. Like some of the most incredible humans that I've ever met are in the rooms of recovery.
So how long were you in recovery? Or how long?
32 days. I was at the facility in Florida. And another way that God orchestrated things is that a year before that, Phil's family had set up a family vacation for that summer in Florida. Like it was already booked and planned, and I was going to go. Obviously, I'm part of the family.
Yeah.
So what wound up happening was I was in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, at a facility, and about 8 hours away-ish, my family was having family vacation while I was in rehab. And then on my last day of rehab, when I was being released, Phil got to drive down alone and pick me up. And so we got to be together and reconcile some things and hash some things out, and also just realize that we're starting from scratch here. And the Lord gave us that time together, and it was not fun, and it was not pretty by any means. It's not a movie.
It was awkward.
It was very awkward and hard.
Yeah.
But then we got to drive back, and I got to be with my family on the final days of their vacation. And those are some of my favorite pictures. Yeah. Because it's the first time, it's the first time that I was fully present with my children and able to enjoy them. And my oldest was definitely old enough to realize what was happening and what had happened and why Mom had missed camp and not been there for her last year of camp to present her with her graduating from Girls Getaway. And so that was a challenge also. Like there was nothing easy about any of it.
Right.
And now we're here where we are today, and I can look back and say, man, that's the most beautiful time. Gosh, I'm so grateful for that time. When in that time, I was miserable and thought, I'm so embarrassed. I'm full of shame. I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is who I am. Okay, but I'm sober now, but now what? It was a lot, and it was hard, and it was so good. And God was so good in all of it, every second of it.
And let's not forget, we still have a little boy who still has the stuff.
Yep.
But now you're not.
I'm sober now.
But now you're sober. So now it's not that you didn't know the magnitude, because that's a lot
I was
of what
ignoring
got you
it.
there.
Yeah,
but
I was ignoring
now
it.
it's like you got this in your face with a husband that you're reconciling with, a family that you're reconstructing again, and a little boy that now there's nothing to numb the pain.
That's correct. Yeah. Zero mind-altering substances of any kind, which has been my practice since June 27th of 2022. Yeah. And also having to learn how to be a grown-up. Outside of Lucas, outside of our marriage, outside of being a mom, I had all these feelings, and now I have to sit in these feelings and figure out what to do with feelings that I don't want to feel. And not likes it.
Not likes it.
And you're not likes it, and it's not going to let up.
Nope. But to be where we were, fast forward 3 years, I guess 2.5 years after that, when Lucas passed, I'm so thankful that there was nothing we felt the full pain
Yeah.
of him passing
Yep.
and that moment. And there wasn't a running to alcohol or something to numb that. And I'm
It was
thankful
only running
that we
to
got
Jesus.
to. I'm thankful
Yeah.
that if we were going to experience something so awful that we experienced it fully.
Yeah.
And it just it's not to shame anybody that would run to alcohol, because definitely did that before. But for us, this is very specific to us. Like it was such a God thing that he made us. We might not have been fully present for all of Lucas's life, but in that last moment, we were.
Yeah.
And it was a blessing to be able to be there that day in that hospital room when they officially pronounced him dead, and to look at every single person in the eye and tell them thank you for trying to save my son's life. And that the night before, or that morning, I didn't go grab a bottle of whiskey and throw it down.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, because those would have been patterns that could have been possible in the past.
And the tools that we learned going through my first year of recovery and working the steps and gaining these tools so that I could sit in my feelings and deal with my past trauma and learn how to self-soothe, I guess, if you will. Like going back to I was just a toddler, in my adulthood. I didn't know how to be a grown-up. And the Lord designed it so that Phil and I both could have experienced some really dark days, really dark months. And he prepared us for what was coming with Lucas, because I wouldn't be alive today if I hadn't. There's no possible way that I would have survived Lucas dying if God hadn't designed it the way that he did.
Okay, Courtney, so I think this is a really great spot for us to wrap up this week with you and Phil. Not because we're wrapping up to not finish the story. It's not like the cliffhanger that never ends, okay? This is not Dallas the show. No. Not Dallas the show. But we're going to wrap up here, guys, and make sure, in 2 weeks from now, we're going to come back. We're going to pick up the story right where we left off, and we're going to finish it up there. So make sure you don't miss it. Come back for that. We always appreciate you being here. We're super glad that you're doing this episode with us. Thank you guys for doing part 1 of what now is going to be a part 2.
It's a pleasure.
We
and
love
an honor.
how the Holy Spirit moves and works. So guys, we will see you back in a couple of weeks. You don't want to miss it. I promise you. I already know. I have the notes. You don't want to miss it. So come back, and we'll see you then. Bye, y'all.
Hey y'all, thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of Southern Soul Chats. If this conversation encouraged you, be sure to follow along on YouTube and social media at steppingforwardfwd.org or Stepping Forward Ministries, so you never miss what's coming next. And if you'd like to support the mission of Stepping Forward Ministries, you can give through donations at steppingforward.org. Your support helps us to continue sharing faith-filled conversations with you and others that point people to Jesus. We'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.